Patrick and this is Brian. Together we're Just Got Played, and tonight we are trying to cure sexually transmitted disease. We're playing Pandemic Legacy Season 1, #1 game on BGG right now. Just recently took over against Twilight Struggle. Join us for sexually transmitted disease curing. Just Got Played. Brian, tell us all about Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
Sure. Pandemic Legacy is basically a 2 to 4 player co-op type game. It has a set collection mechanic in which all the players are trying to cure 4 diseases by collecting 5 cards of the 4 different colors of the diseases and then turning them into a research station. So that's how you generally win the game. But we haven't played, this is the Legacy Edition, so sometimes the objectives can change throughout the game. So there might be other win conditions that we haven't discovered yet. With that caveat, there's a number of ways that you can actually die in the game. One of which is if you run out of cards, because you draw 2 at the end of every player's turn. If that deck runs out, you die. You have disease cubes. If you ever run out of any of those as the disease is spreading, you die. The outbreak, every time you get 3 disease cubes in one city, and then if another one happens to go to that city, it causes an outbreak. If you get too many outbreaks, 8 in fact, you die. And then also anytime you have one of your characters that dies, there's only so many characters and then regular civilians that are in the game, and once you run out of all of those, you die as well. Patrick, what would you say is your favorite thing about Pandemic Legacy?
I would say my favorite thing is anticipation. We recently played a game called Venom Assault, and it's a little bit different where it's also co-op, and I think you like that one too, but I was really rooting for you to help. We're playing against each other because there's a point scheme too, but I was so happy that you were taking out the enemy and doing really well. This one's the exact opposite. You feel this tremendous weight of anticipation of, crap, as I flip over something out of the infection deck, is it going to be something really, really bad that I don't want to see? And your player card, there's epidemic cards that cause all kinds of chaos in your world, and you're hoping you don't draw one of those. It's going to happen eventually, but you hope it's just not on your turn, or it just, that anticipation of doom, and I love it. It just made me really emotionally charged. And there's one thing that you really liked about it.
The thing that I like best about Pandemic Legacy is the theme. What's better than microorganisms, microvores, the little bacterias, viruses, parasites, sexually transmitted diseases, infecting, coughing, all that gory, nasty, buggy stuff. Spreading it across the board. It's just one of the coolest themes. Reminds you of the movie Outbreak, and all the nastiness. And so my favorite thing is definitely the theme.
You love diseases and all that kind of ickiness. In fact, you even pimped out our game with the microvore pizzas. You get these on Shapeways, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Those are very cool. I like them to kind of be our spot counter instead of the outbreak counter.
Yeah, it helps with the immersion, I think. Just surrounding yourself with everything microorganism related.
I love surrounding yourself with sexually transmitted diseases.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Well, then why do you sit next to me?
It's a good question. Prophylactics, I would say. So, Patrick, what would you say is the thing that you liked least about Pandemic Legacy?
I really enjoyed the game, but if I had to pick one thing that I didn't like about it, I would say it's the alpha player problem. So, what I mean by alpha player is sometimes you may be in a game group where there's one guy that's overly dominant. And I didn't have the problem with you. I didn't have the problem with you, but there are lots of game groups that have an overly dominant player that tries to dictate what every other person's going to do during a co-op game. This game doesn't really mitigate that very well, so if you have an alpha player, you may run into that problem. I don't think it's a big deal, especially if you don't have an alpha player in a group, but that's the one thing I think I would like the least about it. And if there's one thing that you don't like about it.
The thing that I think I like least about Pandemic Legacy is that it's a very commitment-focused game. Signing up for it, I mean, basically everyone's going to have to sit down and agree, okay, the game's going to last probably at least 12 different game sessions. You got to have the same players at the table to make it fun and have that continuity going on.
You don't have to, but I think it's really it's like missing somebody from your D&D group, right?
Exactly. You wouldn't want to, go on 2 adventures and like somebody leaves town or goes on vacation and they miss out on levels 3 through 5 and then, or 7, and then they show up once sporadically. So there is a level of commitment. So it will bring your board gaming groups and game nights to a whole new level because it's commitment and it deals with diseases, some of which might be sexually transmitted.
So you're not cardboard monogamous. You like to have lots of different partners when you're on game night.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, that's how diseases get spread, Brian. Trust me, I know.
That's why I sleeve every one of my cards
that's
and
good.
boards as well. So, yeah.
Pandemic Legacy, Season 1.
Which you can jump on the link down below and go get your copy.
I'm Patrick. This is Brian. Together we're Just Got Played. Thank you very, very much for watching. And remember, wrap it. I don't think we need to get into my physical health history on the show.
No,
I don't know why you mentioned that.
No. Well, speaking of your history, that reminds me about pimping. The miniatures that I printed out are pretty cool for like pimping up your game. But I was also thinking it would be kind of cool to sleeve some of the cards with some maybe some Trojans or something, because that would be like a prophylactic and a pimping related and
then you could put the objective cards, the new top secret objective cards, put those in foil condom wrappers. You have to bite them, you have to tear them open with your teeth.
That would be kind of cool.
And then you pull it out,
See, I think they missed an opportunity to capitalize and join forces with like Trojan or one of the other brands.
Oh yeah, they could have cut down on advertising.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
Good call, Brian. Always thinking.
Yeah. Depends.
What kind of production is this?